Good morning, Ananda. Is my voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So we have started T-beam longitudinal T-beam bridge problem. In that, we are calculated, we are designed cantilever portion, that is cantilever slab portion. This is we are designed. Okay, for that we calculated the dead load shear force. Dead load shear force values we are calculated. After that, we are calculated dead load bending moment. After that, we are placed IRC class A vehicle on this cantilever portion, and we are calculated live load bending moment and live load shear forces. So here live load shear force, the live load bending moment we are calculated. After that we are calculated design bending moment and design shear force. Design bending moment and design shear force. After that we are calculated depth of slab required for the cantilever portion by using this formula m is equal to q into bd square. So from the formula we are calculated depth of slab required for the cantilever portion. After that, we are calculated area of steel required, area of main reinforcement required for the cantilever portion. We are calculated. After that, distribution steel required and spacing requirements we are calculated. So now, in we also so that is about cantilever portion. Coming to interior panel design. So it is interior for the interior panel. We are using Pigot's method for the calculation of moment coefficients and moment along longer span and moment along shorter span. Because the slab is comes under two-way slab. So for the two-way slab, we need to calculate bending moment along shorter span as well as bending moment about longer span. We need to calculate for the design. So for that, I'm using here Pigot's method. Pigot's method in this. For that, we require u by v values and v by l values. So we are calculated for first. I'm calculating bending moment along shorter span and bending moment about longer span for the dead load. Due to dead load, bending moment about shorter span and the bending moment about longer span, I'm calculated. I got the bending moment values for the dead load. Only for the dead load, for the shorter span, I'm getting 2.93 kilonewton meter. So this is for this we require these coefficients M1 and M2. Require this is a formula for the calculation of bending moment about shorter span. MB is equal to total load into M1 plus 0.15 M2. For the calculation of M1 M2, Pigot's given some curves. Pigot's given some curves for the uh, calculation of M1 and M2. So these M1 and M2 values are depends upon U by V value and V by L value and B by L value. So these are the factors which are influences the M1 and M2 values. Okay. For the calculation of U, we will use this formula B plus 2T, a long shorter span. So this is B is the width, L is the length of load. Okay. T is the thickness of wearing coat. T is the thickness of wearing coat. So like that, we're going to calculate V value and U value. So K is equal to B by L. From this, from Pigot's chart for uniformly distributed load. So it is a dead load of panel, that means slab. So slab load is acting uniformly on the two spans. Okay, that means the four supports. That means two sides along the length and two sides along the width. The four sides, two girders, two longitudinal girders and two cross girders are supporting the slab. So that's way. So we need to calculate. We need to consider this as a uniformly distributed load is acting throughout the length and the width of the slab. So it's a UDL acting along x direction and y direction. Okay. So now from this curve, we will going to calculate M1 and M2 value depending upon k value and 1 by k value. Actually, M1 and M2 value depends upon u by b value and v by l value, k value, that means b by l value మీద డిపెండ్ అవుతుందండి. బట్ కమింగ్ టు this dead load, that means for the uniform distributed load, u by b value is equal to 1 and v by l value is equal to 1. If you calculate this one, approximately you will get one value 1. Otherwise, Picard says that you take consider for the uniform distributed load, u by v is equal to 1 and v by l value is equal to 1. So here the only variation is k value. K is equal to v by l. So for the calculation of m1, we'll use k value. For the calculation of m2, we have to use 1 by k in this one. Okay. So first, for the here is in this curve is specified clearly moment coefficient for the slabs completely loaded with uniform distributed load. Coefficients m1, coefficient is m1 for k. So for k, we have to read m1. For the 1 by k, from the 1 by k, we're going to read m2, coefficient m2. So from this curve, if k value is 0.87 something is there, for that corresponding value is m1. 1 by k value here we are getting 0.857. Corresponding value where we need to read, that is small m1. And 1 by k value is 1.16. For that we need to read corresponding value. So for k is equal to 0.857, we are going to get m1 value from this curve. m1 is equal to approximately 0.038. So 1 by k value 1.16, then m2 value from the same curve 1.16 somewhere here, 1.16. From the same curve, we're going to get m2 value. m2 is equal to 0.031. So if you substitute dead load coming onto the panel, that is small capital W into m1 plus 0.15 m2, you're going to get bending moment about shorter span as well as bending moment about longer span due to dead load you will going to get. Okay. So now shear force we need to calculate. Shear force we need to calculate. So shear force is equal to WL by 2. W into L by 2. From that, you're going to get dead load shear force. So from by using Picard's method, we are calculated M1 and M2, and we are calculated shorter span bending moment as well as longer span bending moment. We are calculated. So after that, this is due to dead load. Now we have to apply live load on the interior panel. What is the dimensions of interior panel? Interior panel dimension is 3 meters and 3.5 meters. How you have decided 3 meters and 3.5 meters? In the given problem, here we are mentioning that the distance between two cross girders is 3.5 meters. So interior panel is placed on two cross girders and two longitudinal girders. Okay. So two cross girders and two longitudinal girders. That means the slab is supported by 4 beams. The slab. If you consider a room, slab will be there. Below the slab, 4 beams will be there. So like that, so 2 beams are longitudinal girder and 2 beams are the cross girders. So here also, the slab is supported with 4 beams. These beams is called girders. Interior panel slab is supported with 4 longitudinal girders. 4 girders, 2 cross girders and 2 longitudinal girders. So distance between two cross girders is 3.5 meters. The distance between 2 cross girders is 3.5 meters. The distance between two longitudinal girders, these are the 2 longitudinal girders. Distance between 2 longitudinal girders is 3 meters. So that's why our interior panel is dimensions are came like this, 3 meters by 3.5 meters. Okay, so the dimensions are 3 meters by 3.5 meters. Now, for the calculation of live load bending moment and live load shear force, is given in the problem is given for the calculation of live load bending moment and live load shear force. IRC class A vehicle, IRC class A tracked vehicle use చేయమని చెప్పాడండి. So for getting maximum bending moment, to the live load, I want to place IRC class A vehicle on the middle of this panel. On this middle of the panel with symmetrical, I want to apply load symmetrically about x-axis as well as y-axis. Okay, so that means the load which is acting for this portion should be equal to E portion. ఏ పోర్షన్ తీసుకున్నా కూడా సిమెట్రికల్ అబౌట్ వై యాక్స్ అంటే ఇట్ సైడ్ లోడ్ సిమెట్రికల్ సేమ్ ఉంటుందండి. సిమెట్రికల్ అబౌట్ ఎక్స్ యాక్స్ అంటే ఇట్ సైడ్ లోడ్ అంటే మైనస్ ఎక్స్ మైనస్ వై అండ్ ప్లస్ వై డైరెక్షన్ లో కూడా లోడ్ అనేది ఈక్వల్ ఉంటుంది. ఇదైతే ఎంతైతే లోడ్ ఉంటుందో ఇది కూడా అంతే లోడ్. సో ఐఎమ్ అప్లైడ్ ద లోడ్ సిమెట్రికల్లీ ఆన్ ది ఇంటీరియర్ panel slab. So it is not possible to place total vehicle on one single panel. Total width of vehicle is 2.9 meters. It is not possible to place IRC class A vehicle on the same panel. Why? Because total here the panel width is 3 meters, length of panel is 3.5 meters. So for getting maximum bending moment, we need to place one track at this one. Otherwise, if you place one track here, another track will move to the another panel. Okay, inko panel ki velipotadandi. So to get maximum value of bending moment, I am placing only one track at the center of the panel, interior panel, at the center of the interior panel for getting maximum bending moment. So maximum bending moment రావాలంటే ఏం చేస్తామండి, maximum bending moment సెంటర్ బీమ్ పైన సెంటర్ మీద లోడ్ వేసినప్పుడు maximum bending moment వస్తుంది. సేమ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఇక్కడ ఈ స్లాబ్ మీద ఏం చేస్తున్నా, నేను సెంటర్ దగ్గర లోడ్ అప్లై చేస్తున్నా టు గెట్ maximum bending moment. జనరల్ గా బీమ్ ఏదైనా స్లాబ్ కానీ బీమ్ కానీ డిజైన్ చేయాలంటే అండి వీ నీడ్ టు క్యాలిక్యులేట్ maximum bending moment. maximum bending moment కి మనం డిజైన్ చేసుకుంటాం. సో కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నా అంటే ఐఎమ్ ప్లేసింగ్ ఐఆర్సీ క్లాస్ ఏ ట్రాక్డ్ వెహికల్ on the center of the panel. I am calculating moment coefficients m1 and m2. Moment coefficients m1 m2. Why? Because this is a two-way slab. For the two-way slab, we need to calculate bending moment along shorter span. We need to calculate bending moment along longer span. Need to be calculated. So bending moment about shorter span, we have a formula. MB bending moment about shorter span is equal to capital W total load acting on the panel into m1 plus 0.15 m2. So these we need to calculate these coefficients, moment coefficients m1 and m2. For the calculation of moment coefficients, we require u by v value and v by l value and k value. So if you calculate it, so for the calculation of v value, we will use this formula. For the calculation of u value, we will use this formula. T is the thickness of bearing cord. L is the along the length of the length of load, and b is the width of load. So if we calculate like that, and if you read these values, m1 and m2 values from this course, so from this chart we're going to get m1 value, from this chart we're going to get m2 value. Okay, so now you just if I calculate around all those things, I got m1 is equal 0.08 and m2 is equal 0.059. Okay, so m1 values depends upon u by b and v by l. So from this I am reading I got the value m1 as 0.08, m2 is 0.059. After that we need to multiply impact factor. Why? Because this is a live load. For the live load we need to multiply impact factor. For IRC class A vehicle, the span is less than 5 meters, we'll consider impact factor is 25%. Okay, this is according to IRC 6. So continuity factor we need to multiply. Why? Because this is a continuous slab panels are there. So this is not a single simply separated panel, this is a continuous panel. So many panels are there. ఇట్లా మనకు చాలా ప్యానల్స్ ఉంటాయండి, ఒక ప్యానల్ కాదు. మనకి ఒక స్పాన్ లోనే 14 మీటర్స్ ఉందండి. మనం లీనియర్ వాటర్ వే క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ లో ఎంత వచ్చిందంటే 14 మీటర్స్ వచ్చింది. అంటే ఎన్ని నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఒక్క స్పాన్ కి 14 మీటర్స్ ఉందంటే అట్లా ఎన్ని స్పాన్స్ ఉండాలి, ఎంత లెంత్ ఆఫ్ బ్రిడ్జ్ ఉండాలి. సో వీఆర్ ఓన్లీ డిజైనింగ్ వన్ సింగిల్ ప్యానల్. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ అ కంటిన్యూస్ slab. It comes on continuous slab. So that's why we need to multiply continuity factor to the moment. So generally continuity factor we consider as 0.8. So if you multiply impact factor and continuity factors, you're going to get final moments. This is live load moment along shorter span, live load moment along longer span. So after that you have to calculate design bending moment. So design bending moment is equal to bending moment due to live load along shorter span, bending moment due to dead load. Similarly, along longer span, bending moment due to live load, bending moment due to dead load. So if you add these values, design bending moment you are going to get. So design bending moment is nothing but summation of all moments along that span. If it is a shorter span moments we will going to add, that is dead load bending moment plus live load bending moment we will going to add. If it is along longer span, dead load bending moment, and live load bending moment. If you add, you will get design bending moments. Okay. So this is about calculation of live load bending moment and dead load bending moments and design bending moments. Now for the calculation of live load shear force, ఇక్కడ బెండింగ్ మూమెంట్ మాక్సిమం కావాలంటే ఏం చేసామంటే వీఆర్ ప్లేస్ ద వెహికల్ సెంటర్ దగ్గర ప్లేస్ చేస్తాం టు గెట్ మాక్సిమం bending moment, that means maximum bending moment due to live load, we are placed the IRC class A vehicle at the center to get maximum shear force. Shear force generally ikkada maximum vastundante near to the support, the shear force is maximum. So that's why I'm placing my IRC class A vehicle, class AA vehicle near to the support. Here this is a T beam, this is a one longitudinal girder, this is another longitudinal girder. The thickness of slab is 220 mm and bearing core thickness is 80 mm. I'm placed my IRC class AA vehicle of having width of track is 0.85 meters and load is acting 350 kilonewton. I placed here. So because of the application of load dispersion will be takes place. So if I calculate load dispersion here, load length of dispersion, the formula is this. Let us suppose this is B plus, or this, let us suppose if you consider this is small b or small w plus 2d, is the, you will going to get this value. So ఇప్పుడు మనం calculate load length of dispersion, we are getting is 1.41 meters. 1.41 meters అంటే ఈ లోడ్ లెంత్ ఆఫ్ డిస్పర్షన్ అనేది ఈ బీమ్ దగ్గర డైరెక్ట్ ఈ టీ బీమ్ మీద పడేయాలి. ఈ ఎడ్జ్ అనేది లాస్ట్ ఎడ్జ్ ఆఫ్ డిస్పర్షన్ హ్యాస్ టు బి apply on the this longitudinal gutter, need to apply on the longitudinal gutter, like arrange atla apply it. We need to arrange the vehicle, so here we are getting the width of dispersion, or this is, let us call width of dispersion, load width of dispersion is equal to, along the shorter span we are getting 1.41 meters. Here 1.41 meters we are getting. So this, let us suppose this is load length of dispersion anukondi 1.41 meters. So now we need to calculate load width of dispersion in this direction. Okay, for that we will use this formula alpha x into 1 minus x by L plus b1. So here from this we are going to get if we calculate this one, alpha is equal to 2.008. Already we are seeing this. Okay, so if we calculate effective width of dispersion, we are getting 4.84 meter. 4.84 meters. From this you calculate shear force L minus x by L into shear force, applied shear force per meter width. From that you will get total shear force. I am getting 53.42. This is a live load shear force. After that I need to multiply with the impact factor and continuity factor. From that I will going to get live load shear force as 53.42 kilonewton. So now for to getting design shear force is equal to live load shear force plus dead load shear force. I am getting design shear force is 62.3 kilonewton. 62.3 kilonewtons. So after that, so I got the all design moments and design shear forces. So now I'll move to the design procedure. First I need to calculate the depth of slab required. For the depth of slab required calculation, we will use formula m is equal to q into bd square. M is equal to q into bd square. That formula we are going to use. Here we have that formula, m is equal to q into bd square. For the calculation of reinforcement for the slab, m is equal to j into sigma st into ast into d. This formula we are going to calculate for the we'll use for the calculation of area of steel. Okay. So if you solve by considering dead load, live load bending moment, maximum bending moment, by taking maximum bending moment, here we are getting design bending moment values 33.43 and 26.86. For the calculation of depth of slab required, we'll use this bending moment, maximum moment. In this maximum moment is 33.43. We'll consider 33.43 is a maximum moment for the calculation of depth of slab required. Okay, depth of slab required is equal to M is equal to Q into BD square. So from this, if you calculate D value, I'm getting 120.3 mm I'm going to get. Okay, 120.3. So this is effective depth. So actual depth provided is equal to, we have to add, actual depth is equal to, actual depth what we are provided, 220 mm we are already provided. So from that you detect, actually it is not 200, it is 220 we are provided. 220 minus 40 minus 7, you will get 173 mm. 173 mm you will going to get. So it is more than depth required. Hence, our design is safe. Then you go for calculation of area of steel, main reinforcement along shatter span, and calculation of spacing. After the calculation of steel along longer span. So for the calculation of area of steel for the shorter span, we'll use shorter span moment, that is 33.43. Along shorter span 33.43. For the calculation of AST along shorter span, we'll use this moment 33.43. For the calculation of area of steel for the longer span, we'll use this moment. What is the formula we need to use for the calculation of area of steel? So this M is equal to this formula. M is equal to J into sigma ST into AST into D. This from this formula, if you use M is equal to shorter span moment, you'll get AST along the shorter span. M is equal to longer span moment, if you substitute here, you'll get AST for the longer span. Okay. Right. After that, so spacing, we are calculated shorter span moment, shorter span reinforcement as well as longer span reinforcement. After that, spacing we are calculated. After that, we need to check for shear. So we need to calculate nominal shear from IRC 21, or if you want to use IS 456 2000, there is also available. So shear checking we have to do for the beam. Okay, first we're going to calculate nominal shear. Nominal shear is equal to applied shear, design shear force divided by area. Area is nothing but B into D, B into effective depth. So B I'm considering for 1 meter width, and the depth is equal to whatever effective depth required. That is, if you substitute nominal shear, we are getting 0.40 MPa. Okay. Now we need to calculate. This is a shear stress applied due to loading. Design shear force. Due to this is applied shear force. This is shear force. Due to this shear force, shear stress is developing in the that girders. Shear stress is developed in the slab, not girder. Shear stress will going to get shear stress will going to develop in the interior panel. For the calculation of shear stress, that shear stress is called nominal shear stress. For the calculation of nominal shear stress, this use formula force by area. Shear force by that corresponding area. Shear force here we have 62.3. Area is corresponding area is B into D. B into D. So B value I'm considering for 1 meter length of the slab. D is the effective depth of slab. I'm going to get a nominal shear stress. Nominal shear stress is equal to 0.40 MPa. Okay. Now this is the shear stress. For the we are providing some steel main reinforcement, and along shorter span and along longer span we are providing reinforcement. Because of this reinforcement and grade of concrete, that slab itself will have some shear carrying capacity. Shear carrying capacity is going to have that slab, because of we are provided some reinforcement, AST cap main reinforcement we are provided along the shorter span, along longer span we are provided. So because of the reinforcement and the grade of concrete, that slab itself will have some shear carrying capacity. So we need to calculate that shear carrying capacity. For the calculation of shear carrying capacity, we have to calculate percentage of steel provided in the slab. We need to calculate percentage of steel here. So we are getting main reinforcement is 1213 along shorter span, 1058 mm square along shorter span. So ఇందులో ఏదైతే maximum ఉంటుందో that we need to consider. Here 12, 13 is the maximum along shorter span. I'm considering percentage of steel. Calculating percentage of steel. Here percentage of steel is equal to capital AST by B into D into 100. I'm getting here percentage of steel is 0.79. Why I'm calculating this percentage of steel? So for the calculation of strength of concrete for that slab, percentage of steel and grade of concrete is required. Percentage of steel and grade of concrete is required. Here percentage of steel 0.79 and grade of concrete is M40. So one table is there in IS 456 2000 or IS IRC 21. We have one table in that. So if you calculate a tau c value will going to get 0.38 MPa. Okay. So here we are getting tau v value is 0.40 and we are getting tau c is equal to 0.38. Okay, 0.38. And so slight variation is there. Slight variation is there. Even slight variation is there. It is not a problem. Will not it is not create any problem for us. Why? Because we will anyhow will provide uh, bent up bars in that, so that will carry that will going to carry additional shear force or additional shear stress whatever developed in this. So that's why so shear check is not a problem for this one. Okay, why? Because this variation is very small, 0.38 and 0.40, only 0.02 MPa will be there. Anyhow, we'll going to bend at a support. Main reinforcement will going to bend, so that will carry that will take care of these shear stresses. So the shear check is it is safe for the shear and చెప్పేసాను. So that is about slab. So that is about interior panel. So once again I'll repeat, for the design of interior panel, first we are calculated dead load shear force along shorter span, dead load shear force, sorry, dead load bending moment at a shorter span, dead load bending moment about longer span we are calculated. After that, live load bending moment along shorter span and live load bending moment along longer span we are calculated. After that, dead load shear force, live load shear force, design shear force, after the depth of slab required, area of steel required, and check for shear. Check for shear. Okay. Now we need to design longitudinal girder. Now we need to design longitudinal girder. For the design longitudinal girder, we'll use Coburn method. Coburn's method. In this Coburn's method is given one formula for the calculation of load coming onto the girder. Load coming onto the girder can be calculated. That means live load due to live load. We are placing IRC class AA vehicle like this. If I place IRC class AA vehicle like this is W1. One track weight is W1. Another track weight is also same weight will have, that is W1 is also W1. If you place the load like this, reaction will going to develop at the girders. So these girders are the supports. Girders will be considered the supports. Support reaction will going to develop at every girder, longitudinal girder. For the calculation of support reaction, Coburn given one formula for the calculation of support reaction. So support reaction at A is equal to total load coming onto the girder, W by N. Here number of girders is 3. W by N into 1 plus NEX by NEX1 by sigma x square. That we are already seen this formula. Once again, I'll show you the same formula. Yeah, this is the formula. So load on beam A or reaction on any longitudinal girder is equal to total load by N, W by N plus W into E into X1 by sigma x square. So this is the formula. So from the same formula, you can able to calculate reaction on each girder. Reaction on each girder. Okay. So using Coburn method, the reaction factor for the outer girder is these are the two outer girders. So if you see this T-beam bridge, it is symmetrical loaded bridge, symmetrical about y-axis. That means the distance between two outer girders is same. Here if you see this distance from inner girder to outer girder is 3 meters, inner girder to outer girder it is also 3 meters. So symmetrically loaded, that means symmetrically loaded girder. For the calculation of this one, it is very easy. ఇక్కడ రెండు గడ్డర్స్ కి మనం ఇండివిజువల్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ రియాక్షన్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఒక గడ్డర్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసుకుంటే ఆటోమేటిక్ గా ఇంకో గడ్డర్ కూడా సేమ్ రియాక్షన్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ ఉంటుందండి. సో ఐఎమ్ క్యాలిక్యులేటింగ్ రియాక్షన్ ఫ్యాక్టర్. దట్ ఫార్ములా ఇస్ W/N into 1 plus NEX by sigma x square. Here x is the distance from CG of the bridge to the CG of the girder. CG of the bridge to the CG of the girder. Okay, that is x. Okay. Yeah, here 2W1 total load is W1 plus W1, 2W1 by number of girders is 3 into 1 plus NEX. N is equal to number of girders is 3. E value eccentricity. If you calculate the eccentricity of load, we're going to get 1.1. 1.1. So I will explain once again how the 1.1 value is came here. The eccentricity is so actually we are placing the vehicle here like this. So here if you see, I will explain how the 1.1 value is came. So this is footpath, this is carriageway width. So total carriageway width is 2-lane road bridge and cheppindandi. For the 2-lane road bridge, the total carriageway width is 7.5 meters. Okay, so a clear distance between footpath and outer edge of the IRC class A vehicle is 1.2 meters. That is clear spacing is 1.2 meters. This is 1.2 meters. 1.2 plus this is 0.8. The width of track is 0.85. So this length will be 0.85 by 2. If you add 1.2 plus 0.85 by 2, that means 0.425, you will get 1.625. So this distance we are getting. After that, the spacing between center to center spacing between two tracks is 2.05. 2.05. So like that I am calculated. Okay, if you consider this one, if you calculate this value, we are going to get 1.1 meters. So if you place the vehicle like this, if you calculate distance from the CG, you will get this 1.1 meters. So this is our eccentricity E. E is equal to 1.1 meters. Okay.
Sir,
just yeah.
I
will explain once again. So this is the total width of the carriageway is 7.5 meters. So for the we need to place the vehicle in such a way that we need to give clear spacing between the curb, this curb or footpath nunchi outer side of the IRC class A vehicle. This clearance is 1.2 meters. Clearance మనం జనరల్ గా 1.2 మీటర్ తీసుకుంటాం కదండి. సో 1.2 meters plus the width of this track is 0.85 meters. Width of the track is 0.85 meters. So to getting this one, half of the width of the track I am considering. Load will be act at the center of the track. Load will going to act at the center of the track. So this is 0.85 by 2 plus 1.2. So calculate this one. Okay, anyone you can calculate. It's not responding calculator in my system. You calculate, you're going to get 1.625. Anyhow, you're going to get 1.625. Sorry, 1.625 you'll get. That is a distance from CG of the track to the nearest edge of the footpath nunchi CG of the outer track ఉన్నటువంటి distance 1.625. ఎట్లా వచ్చిందంట క్లియర్ స్పేసింగ్ 1.2 plus half of the track and 0.85 is the 0.85 meters is the width of the track. 0.85 by 2 plus 1.2. Rule number 18.
Yes sir, 1.1 ఎట్లా వచ్చింది చెప్పండి సార్.
1.1. So this remaining is ఈ distance ఎంత అండి 2.05 కదా. Okay,
yes sir.
clear spacing 0.25. Okay, so now if you see this one, you take, this is 3 meters, 3 meters కదా. ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఈ టోటల్ డిస్టెన్స్ నుంచి 3 meters తీసేయండి. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ this is 600 mm, this is 600 mm, this 3 meters, this is 3 meters, 600 mm, ఇది 3 meters. దీని ఒక క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ చేయండి, ఒక్క నిమిషం చెప్తా. ఎవరైనా క్యాల్సి తీసుకోండి, ఎనీవన్.
చెప్పండి సార్.
1.625.
ఎస్
మనకు
సార్.
సీజీ నుంచి కావాలి కదా నాన్న. ఒక పని చేయండి నాన్న, ఒక పని చేయండి. ఇప్పుడు రిమైనింగ్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంత ఉంటుంది? ఇది జస్ట్ ఎ మినిట్. సో దిస్ ఇస్ 3 meters. 3 meters నుంచి మనకు కావాల్సిన డిస్టెన్స్ ఇది కదా. యా, 2.05/2 చేయండి. హలో, రూల్ నెంబర్ 18.
ఎస్ సార్.
2.05/2 చేయండి.
ఎస్ సార్.
1.025 వస్తుంది సార్.
1.025 వచ్చిందా? ఈ స్పేసింగ్ ఎంత ఉంటుంది అమ్మా అంటే 0.075 ఉంటుంది. ఈ డిస్టెన్స్ ఉంటుంది చూడండి, అది 0.075 ఉంటుంది. యాడ్ చేయండి అది.
ఎట్లా సార్ 0.075?
ఒక్క నిమిషం, ఒక ఫిగర్ చూపిస్తాను నేను. యాక్చువల్లీ ఇది దీంట్లో ఉందో లేదు, ఇది దీంట్లో లేదు. ఒక ఫిగర్
1.1 వచ్చింది సార్.
1.1 వచ్చింది కదా. సో ఇది ఎట్లా అంటే,
Yes, sir.
ఇది ఎట్లా తీసుకుంటామంటే, ఈ 3 meters నుంచి మనము ఇది ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తాము, ఈ డిస్టెన్స్ మనం ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తాము. 3 meters నుంచి మనకు ఈ వాల్యూ వస్తుంది. నా ఫిగర్ ఉంది, నేను ఆ ఫిగర్ నేను ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాను నీకు. ఒక్క నిమిషము.
మీరు హాఫ్ ఎందుకు తీసుకోవాలి? అది 0.05 ఎట్లా వచ్చింది? అది ఒక్కసారి చెప్పండి
ఒక్క
సార్.
నిమిషం చెప్తామ్మా. ఇది ఏంటంటే, ఇది ఇప్పుడు జనరల్గా ఏంటంటే, ఈ డిస్టెన్స్ అంటే ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇడికే కదమ్మా, ఎసెంట్రిసిటీ ఈ నుంచి ఇడికే కదా. అంటే సెంటర్ నుంచి ఈ డిస్టెన్స్ అంటే హాఫ్ ఆఫ్ ద డిస్టెన్స్ ప్లస్ ఈ డిస్టెన్సే కదా మనకు కావాల్సింది.
Yes, sir.
యా, ఒక్క నిమిషం నేను షేర్ చేస్తా. నేను ఈ క్లాస్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత నేను ఈ ఫిగర్ నేను షేర్ చేస్తాను. నా దగ్గర ఉంది ఆ ఫిగర్. అది ఎట్లా వచ్చిందని మీకు క్లారిటీ ఉంటుంది ఆ ఫిగర్ షేర్ చేస్తే. ఓకేనా? క్లాస్ అయిపోయేలోగా నేను ఆ
Okay, sir.
ఫిగర్ షేర్ చేస్తాను. నేను ఒక్కటే 2 minutes. సో ఐ క్యాలిక్యులేటెడ్ హియర్. I'm calculated reaction for n is equal to 3, eccentricity E value is, this distance is 1.1 meters. X1 is equal to X1, that is the distance from CG of the beam to the CG of the extreme girder, that is 3 meters. If I calculate reaction factor for the outer girder, I am getting this value as reaction factor is for the extreme girders, for this girder as well as this girder, I am getting 1.03 W1. 1.03 W1, where W1 is the total, not a single track load. So now if you add total load is equal to W is equal to 2W1. Total capital W is equal to 2W1. In place of W1, you substitute W by 2. You will get reaction factor for the outer girder. Reaction factor for the outer girder, we are going to get 0.52 into W. 0.52 into W. Okay. So for this, reaction factor is 0.52 into W. For this, 0.52 into W. So now we need to calculate reaction factor for the inner girder. So for the reaction factor for the inner girder is equal to same formula, W by N into 1 plus NEX by sigma X square. For the inner girder, X value is 0. So because what is X? Distance from the CG of the beam to the CG of the girder. CG of the beam to the CG of girder distance is 0. So that's why, so X value is 0. So if you solve this one, you're going to get only 2W1 by 3. 2W1 by 3. ఈ టర్మ్ ఎట్లా 0 అయిపోతుందండి. 2W1 by 3 అంటే, so it is 0.33 W value we are getting. 0.33 W. Okay. So this is a reaction factors. If you apply live load, like this by giving standard spacing ఇచ్చేసిన తర్వాత లైవ్ లోడ్ కనుక మనము స్లాబ్ ప్యానల్ మీద అప్లై చేస్తే live load reaction coefficients you're going to get for the outer girder we are getting 0.52 W. For inner girder we are getting 0.33 W. So now calculate. So this is about for the reactions. Now for the design of longitudinal girder, we require dead loads and all those things. Okay. I'm calculating dead load for the cantilever portion. Dead load for the cantilever portion are already we are calculated. We have two cantilever portions is there. So loading for the cantilever portion, two cantilevers is there. For loading one portion is 15.66 is there. Two రెండు ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి cantilever portions ని నేను 2 తో మల్టిప్లై చేస్తున్నాను. Okay. Now total load coming onto the cantilever portion is 31.32 kilonewton. Loading from the deck slab is 41.32 kilonewtons. Loading from the deck slab we are getting 41. Total dead load coming onto the deck slab. Total load coming onto the longitudinal girder we are getting this is a total dead load that is 72.65 kilonewton. Only what we are consider load from cantilever portion and a load from deck slab. Load from cantilever portion undandi. Load from deck slab. This total load will be considered a dead load for this longitudinal girder. ఈ longitudinal girder కి cantilever portion నుంచి వచ్చే లోడ్ ఈ డెక్ స్లాబ్ లోడ్ ని మనము డెడ్ లోడ్ గా కన్సిడర్ చేస్తామండి. దట్ డెడ్ లోడ్ వి ఆర్ క్యాలిక్యులేటెడ్ total dead load coming onto the longitudinal girder is 72.65. Okay, 72.65 is the load. Next, so before that I will share one slide through your WhatsApp group. నీకు ఒక వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో ఒకటి పెడుతున్నా చూడండి అన్న, అది 0.75 ఎట్లా వచ్చిందో అది. C1. మీకు వచ్చింది, దాన్ని ఒకసారి చూడండి, మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి దీనికి వెళ్ళిపోదాం. ఇదే కదా మనకు కావాల్సింది, ఇదే రైట్. సో టోటల్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ హియర్ టు హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఒక నిమిషం అన్న, రూల్ నెంబర్ 18
సార్.
యా ఇప్పుడు టోటల్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఒకసారి చూడండి, 0.7075. మన ఇక్కడ నుంచి దిస్ ఇస్ 3 meters. 3 meters కదన్నా?
ఎస్ సార్.
సెంటర్ టు సెంటర్ మనకు కావాల్సింది టోటల్ డిస్టెన్స్ నుంచి ఇది తీసేయాలి, అంతే కదా? ఇది తీసేస్తే మీకు ఇది ఇచ్చేస్తుంది. టోటల్ డిస్టెన్స్ కావాలంటే మనకి ఇది 3 meters, ఇది మనకి ఎంత అంటే 300/2, ఇది 600. ఇప్పుడు ఒకసారి క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయండి. 3 meters ప్లస్ యూస్ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్. 3 meters 3000 mm ప్లస్ 150 mm ప్లస్ 600 mm మైనస్ 1625 మైనస్ 2050 వచ్చింది కదా నాన్న? చూడండి ఒకసారి చేయండి. ఇప్పుడు టోటల్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఇందులో నుంచి, అంటే ఈ ఎడ్జ్ నుంచి ఇటు వరకు ఉన్నటువంటి డిస్టెన్స్ మనం క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలి. ఎడ్జ్ నుంచి ఇటు వరకు డిస్టెన్స్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలంటే center to center distance between these two longitudinal gutters, that is 3 meters, plus half of the width of the gutter, that is 150 mm, plus road width available in cantilever portion. Road width available in cantilever portion ఎంత అండి? మనం 600 mm కదా, 600 mm కదా,
ఎస్
18,
సార్
యా 600 mm ఇది కదా. దీని తర్వాత మనకు ఎడ్జ్ ఆఫ్ ది బీమ్ ఉంది 150 mm. So this is 0.075 meters. So 0.075 meters plus half of the load ఇక్కడ యాక్ట్ అవుతుంది కదండి, ఆ సెంటర్ దగ్గర లోడ్ యాక్ట్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి. సో డిస్టెన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ CG of the beam to the CG of the load, it is 2.05 by 2, that is half of this distance plus 0.075 యాడ్ చేసుకుంటే మీకు 1.1 meters వస్తుందండి. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకేనా, రైట్. So this is the dead load we are calculated. Dead load coming from the cantilever portion and dead load coming from the interior panel we are calculated. That is we are getting this total dead load is 72.65 kilonewtons. So this total dead load is taken by 3 girders. Whatever the load, రెండు cantilever portion load వస్తుందండి, plus total load coming from this deck slab has to taken by these 3 longitudinal girders. అంటే టోటల్ లోడ్ ని ఏం చేయాలి మనము, 3 longitudinal girders కి ఈక్వల్ గా డిస్ట్రిబ్యూట్ చేయాలి. ఎందుకంటే దిస్ విల్ బి కన్సిడర్డ్ యూనిఫామ్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటర్ లోడ్, డెడ్ లోడ్ విల్ బి కన్సిడర్డ్ యూనిఫామ్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటర్ లోడ్. సో we need to distribute this total dead load to 3 longitudinal girders equally. అంటే ఏంటి, total load therefore we have load per girder is 24.2 kilonewton meter we are getting. Now for the calculation of ఇప్పుడు మనం total dead load coming onto the girder చూసినామండి. For the calculation of self weight of girder, అది self weight of girder కావాలంటే మనకు we require depth of girder కావాలండి. మనం ఆల్రెడీ మనము width of girder మనం అజ్యూమ్ చేసుకున్నాం 300 mm అని అజ్యూమ్ చేసుకున్నాం, బట్ we require depth of girder. So for the assumption of depth of girder, for the calculation of self weight we require depth of girder అనేది అవసరం. ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే ఒక థంబ్ రూల్ ఉన్నదండి. ఏంటది అంటే the depth of girder to be 100 mm per meter span of girder అని తీసుకుంటున్నాం. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఒక 100 mm ఒక 1 meter span of the longitudinal girder span is 1 meter will be there. If 1 meter is there, we need to assume 100 mm depth. మనకి ఇక్కడ స్పాన్ ఎంత ఉంది, 14 meters స్పాన్ ఉంది. లీనియర్ వాటర్ వే మనం క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసినప్పుడు లెంత్ ఆఫ్ గర్డర్ వచ్చిందంటే లెంత్ ఆఫ్ స్పాన్ వచ్చింది. సో లెంత్ ఆఫ్ స్పాన్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ లెంత్ ఆఫ్ గర్డర్. సో లెంత్ ఆఫ్ గర్డర్ ఎంత వచ్చింది, 14 meters. 14 meters into 100. So depth of girder I am assuming by considering this depth of girder is 1400 mm. 1400 mm I am getting. Now so depth of web portion or rib portion is equal to depth of web portion is equal to total depth of T-beam girder minus depth of slab. So depth of slab I am considering here actually it is 220 mm. I am considering 200 mm for round figuration. So 1200 mm depth of rib వచ్చిందండి, 1200 mm depth of web వచ్చింది. Now width of web we are already assumed 300 mm. Now I want to calculate self weight per meter length of girder. So self weight per meter length of girder is equal to, it is a depth of girder into thickness of girder, depth of girder into thickness of girder, that is width of girder into depth of girder into unit weight. You will going to get 8.64 kilonewton meter is the self weight of the longitudinal girder. Okay, the self weight of longitudinal girder we are getting 8.64. Now The weight of cross girder also be considered. Here we have generally the load dispersion will takes place from beam. So this girder will be considered as a beam from cantilever portion to the slab, slab to the longitudinal girders and cross girder, from cross girder to again the load transfer to the longitudinal girders. That is the intention. For the design of this longitudinal girders, you need to consider cross girder load also. Cross girder load also you need to consider. Okay, once again I'll explain. Here the load dispersion will be takes place from cantilever portion to the interior panel. From interior panel to load dispersion will be takes place for the longitudinal girders as well as cross girders. Again the cross girder load will transfer to longitudinal girders, but because supports, that means piers and abutments, is connected to only longitudinal girders. Longitudinal girders ki connect ayi untayi kabatti the cross girder load has to be transferred to longitudinal girders. For the design of this longitudinal girders, we have to consider dead load of this cross girders also. అర్థమైందా నాన్న? రూల్ నెంబర్ 18. రూల్ నెంబర్ 18 రెస్పాండ్.
సార్
అర్థమైందా?
ఎస్ సార్, ఎస్ సార్.
అర్థమైంది. ఒక్కసారి నేను ఎవరు ఎక్కడ ఉన్నారు అటు ఎవరు వాళ్ళు
ఒక్క నిమిషం సార్, బయట డిస్టర్బెన్స్ ఉంది. ఓకే
నువ్వేనా?
ఎస్ సార్.
Okay, so we need to calculate that cross girder weight also we need to calculate. So cross girder, weight of cross girder is equal to, this is actually weight of beam, longitudinal girder, weight of longitudinal girder per meter run. Weight, hello, 59 respond. 59.
Sir.
Yeah. Okay. Some disturbance is there. Suddenly my laptop got shut down. Shut down automatically. Okay, right. I will take attendance for this today's session because it is around 11:30. I will record this video, that is a longitudinal girder. I will post in course web. You go through that video. Okay. So this is a third lecture, continuation lecture, third lecture. So I'll post one more lecture in course web. After that, the fifth lecture, that is a design of cross girder. I'll explain the next class. So I'll post this design of longitudinal girder and the calculation of loads and all those things. I will record. I'll post in course web. Go through it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all, one and all.